This last session is going to instruct on how to use visual aids. And because this is quite a broad category that can't really be covered in a few minutes, I'm going to give you general principles for print or visual aids and props. The first thing I want to bring out is don't let the visual aids become your presentation. I've heard so many times in sales presentations or people in business say, oh man, those were great visuals, as if the visuals are the presentation or what's going to persuade people. Now, it's important to have professional visuals if you're going to use them, but you are the speech, and people are going to be persuaded by you. I had one student one time when I taught, they had an easel here with a diagram. They had PowerPoint going, and they had another prop over here. It's almost like they were hiding behind a castle, and it was a way to hide rather than really for them to shine. So you don't want the visuals to become your speech. You are, in a sense, the curriculum or the content of the speech. You are the speech. So they're supposed to aid you or assist you, not take over. So having said that, when you use visual aids like PowerPoint or if you're using an easel with slides, a good rule of thumb is, let's say your speech is 10 minutes or your presentation is 10 minutes, divide by 2 and add 1. That would be 6. Don't have more than 6 visuals on your PowerPoint slides or your cards that you might have on an easel or a flip chart. Divide by 2 and add 1 is a good principle for time and balance so that the visuals don't become the speech. You're still in the one in charge or the one moving the direction of the content and the people listening and their minds. So when you do use visual or print, don't use all caps. I know throughout this presentation I've used caps, but I use smaller caps here. But the general rule is don't use all caps because it sounds angry. And then when you list something out, only have at the max 7 bullet points. Probably that's a little too many, but not more than 7. Otherwise it gets confusing. So don't use all caps. Keep it to 7 bullet points, and then keep everything to 7 words or less in a line. That's why you don't see billboards with lots of information. They're usually 7 words or less. And so you want to, I know that sounds hard. Some of you are not going to like that because there's lots of information. If you have detailed information, give it in a handout, probably most likely after you're done with the presentation so it doesn't interrupt your speech. In fact, I wouldn't hand something out that can make sound because it's going to be, that sound is going to be rippling through the audience if they have more than one page if it's a handout. So it's generally good to give that afterward if there's a lot of detail you want them to remember or have information afterward. So when using print visuals, again, make sure that you don't overwhelm your audience. Keep it to 7 items or less and 7 words or less in each. That's just a good rule of thumb. The other thing about props to use, if you're going to bring something up, make sure you use it. You know, I remember in the old days when I was in school, the teacher, we were expecting to see a video because all the video equipment was out, and then she didn't show it. Oh, I found out it was the history class before us, and so we're all kind of upset or, man, we don't get to watch a video. So if you get the expectation of your audience members up, they're going to respect you. They're going to leave that visual alone because they want that little goodie or that little insight that's going to come from the visual. But if you're going to bring a prop, make sure that you use it. And again, the same with props. They need to be very simple and not complicated. They don't need to be something that detracts from your presentation. So if you're giving a medical presentation and you bring in a whole skeleton, okay, that would be fine. But if it's projecting an expectation that you're going to talk about all the bones, you might want to bring in the skeleton with just a couple of colored bones or some arrows to minimize the expectation of your audience. Those are some just brief tips. In an advanced public speaking class, you would get more than that. This wraps up for us the 10 different sessions, and you have enough information to put a really good quality presentation together and deliver it with confidence.